This is episode 7 of the Trading Floor podcast, guys. And today we're talking about trading as a team. And who else other to bring the London Lunatics themselves? Bear, Sven. What's up, guys?
Let's go.
Welcome, guys. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, folks.
Thank you for having us.
No, so what we are going to be talking about is trading as a team, and Bear and Sven do host their lives together, which is awesome. You will see this kind of common theme in the community where we will have typically 2 people in a live. Not always. Some people don't mind doing it themselves, but even Jane and myself have done this. Roxy and Hawks have done this. So Roxy and Ian have done this. So there's a lot of times where you'll see people will kind of like tend to find somebody to help them through their lives. One, it helps obviously to have somebody answer your questions while you're kind of going on your rants. But 2, also to find that person who kind of clicks with you and like knows your style, knows like what you're working on and stuff like that. It really does kind of help to have a person like to talk things through with when it comes to trading. So even before Bear and Sven were Bear and Sven for us in TTF, they were already like working on little things together behind the scenes, like doing like their own little projects together, talking things through, and we can get into what you guys have done, but that's why we brought them on. We thought they would be like the perfect trading couple to truly represent like what it's like to trade with a team and not be forced because we told you, hey, work with somebody that works for us. Like it's like they genuinely had this connection beforehand, and I think it's really, really cool to see like how you guys have just become really part of each other's like trading journey, but then also like still do your own separate things. Like you're not super reliant on one another, but like you're always there to have, like bounce things off of each other. And I think that's important in trading, to have somebody to do that with. It's lonely. Trading can be a very lonely thing, and it's nice to have somebody else who understands what the heck you're talking about, especially if you have like a spouse or somebody else who like has no clue what you're talking about like all day long, and then you're like, never mind, you have no clue. So to have like a friend of some sort to like talk about, like it's always nice. So let's introduce them individually and then we can talk about them as a couple. Bear, do you want to like tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, how did you get started in trading? Where did you come from? What do you do? What do you want to do moving forward? Your whole story, but like in 2 minutes or less.
Oh God.
It was just a summary.
Challenge.
How are you going to put boundaries on me, Christy? That's just not fair.
You have 5 minutes.
All right, 5 minutes. Here we go. So my story, I started trading about 11 years now, 10, 11 years ago, back in 2012, give or take.
Early.
Yeah.
That was a while.
Early. Forex wasn't even Forex yet.
No, it's still there. It was still there, but it was early days almost. I started trading originally my dad used to do a newsletter, and he had a company for market analysis, which was kind of cool.
That's cool.
But he was strictly a commodities trader. He did analysis on gold, silver, coffee, oil, corn, wheat, you name it. He was all about that. And through him, I got started in options trading, which I thought was a great idea, except for I didn't know what options were. Yeah. And I didn't know what implied volatility was and time decay and all the great things that make options. So started with that. Actually had some success, and then utterly failed miserably.
No.
Yeah, it was horrible. And I was like, I don't understand. The price went up. I had a call, but why aren't I making money? Like, because it went up like 2 months later. So eventually I stumbled, did that for a while, and stumbled into Forex. Because one of the things I didn't like about options was the fact that you had to trade it like stocks, your stocks, and your market's closed every day, right? Yeah. And then you can't trade in between one and the other. And I remember there was one day I got really lucky, but I had a call on a pharmaceutical company, and I didn't realize that earnings for them were coming out overnight. And overnight, the price jumped $1 on the option price, which was great for me, but I also could have gone the other way without me being able to do anything because the markets were closed when they released earnings. And then you had the post-market and pre-market trading that happened, which you can't be a part of. And so prices just moving, and you're just like, oh, I can't wait for the market to open so I close this position. Oh my God. And I really hated that. I was just like, it sucks that I can either lose or make money, and I can't even close or open the position. So I ended up finding Forex, and I was like, oh, this is bloody brilliant, because 24 hours a day, I never have to worry about anything. Stop loss is like, it's always active. You can't get gapped by a stop loss overnight. You know, you can get slippage, but not like you can in options and stocks. So found that, and then spent a lot of time in some different communities, doing a lot of YouTube. Well, I say different, it was really just one or two. Then doing a lot of research on YouTube, a lot of old textbooks that I have, just researching every day, and then trying to trade, because I thought I knew what I was doing, and realizing very quickly that I didn't know what I was doing. So then going back to studying, and then repeating this cycle for about 3 years of losing money, and then learning some more, and then losing more money, and then learning some more, and so on and so forth, until eventually just kind of clicked. And I've been doing Forex for 10 years now. That's the TLDR version.
Congratulations.
Well, what are you doing now at this point? Like, kind of what strategies are you using? Are you kind of in between back and forth? Like, maybe you have like kind of a long term, like higher time frame kind of strategy, or a lower time frame strategy? Like, what are you doing now?
So right now I've been trading the same thing I've been trading for almost 7 years now. It's just 1 hour trading using price action and technical analysis. I draw levels. I don't use indicators, mostly candlestick patterns. I'm a big fan of candlestick patterns and chart patterns. And then just, slower time, higher time trading. It suits me better. I did a whole stint into 1 minute scalping, which I'll actually explain.
Haven't we all? Yeah. Join the club where we're like, yeah, never mind.
And I'll actually talk about that later. Once we get into like trading, like me and Sven as a group, because I actually have a great story about an epiphany I had in my trading regarding that, which was really cool. But yeah, mostly just higher time frame stuff, 1 hour trading. If you come and join the Monday streams that me and Sven do, you'll see basically how I trade. Beyond that, I'm trading Jay's Outback strategy on the side, having fun with that, doing a $20 challenge. So yeah, that's me.
And so for those who might be wondering about the Monday streams that Ben, the bromance couple, do, it is on TTF. It is restricted to only TTF members. So if you're interested in maybe viewing that, description down below and check that out. But other than that shameless plug that I did, Sven, how about you? Where's the origins of Mr. German efficiency himself?
Oh, way back. So just for your orientation, I'm in my mid-40s. And actually, my first thing trading was in school. A local bank did this like stock trading challenge where you just have a little team, and then you would trade some stocks for a few months, and then the best team would get some prizes. We failed in that challenge, but everyone in our team picked one stock, and then we just made a basket out of that. And my stock was a nice winner, and was a window company. And back then, my family's house was like 15 years old, and a lot of around us as well. And this is the time of the year, or the time of the life of a house, where you think about, okay, maybe upgrading windows. So it was a very present topic, and I thought, okay, it's getting into fall. Everybody will do that now. I just pick a good window company, and that's it. And it worked. And I was like, okay, that shit is easy. It was my first hope.
It makes sense. It makes sense though, because like insulation, like the windows, bad windows, that could be bad. So
yeah, but it was pure luck, of course, because my sort of fundamental analysis was very, very super basic. Of course, I was 16 years old, so what do I know? And then fast forward, when I started university, I don't really remember why, but probably because I was talking to a friend of mine, and we both got back into, hey, let's do some trading on the side. And back then in Germany, we had what's called a new market, which was basically like a NASDAQ, but way less regulated. But it was the internet boom. So if you're not too stupid and you pick anything biochemical or internet, you basically made good money.
Yeah.
And of course, I was a young gun, no clue. My question never was how much can I lose. My question always was how many shares can I buy with my little funds I have. And I had a few thousands to my name because I was working every summertime instead of going to holidays and stuff. I was working. with a bit of a capital, and I made some really nice gains, like double digits every month. I was laughing at my dad, who was the typical buy and hold, just some local stocks, and he would make like, I don't know, 5% a year. Hey, Dad, I make it in a week. Needless to say, I lost all of it. So
Get on my level.
First lesson. So that was my first real life lesson, that you have to pay attention and you don't have to get stuck. I remember very vividly that one of my stocks, I wanted to sell at 100 and would have made like 30% on it. And it turned around at 98. And I kept buying and buying, and I even borrowed money because I said, no, this will, like everything I did before will just be a winner. So I buy. So I'm totally falling knife. And that was a really good lesson for me. So that was my entry into the trading. But as I said, it was a way back. So this is like 25 years ago. You could only get long, no leverage.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
No support resistance yet.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Just buying stuff I think looked good. And that was the starting point. And over the years, I just honed into that. I noticed that I'm pretty good at picking stock at identifying like early trends. So for example, I bought Amazon when it was sub $20 because I thought, okay, this whole bookstore stuff online, that would be cool. I bought a few of these stocks, and of course, one of them was a winner, and the other one will lose. A little bit like venture capitalists do, to pick up the trend early, buy a basket, and then typically get one or two nice runners. So that I was pretty good at, and I developed that over the years. I got better and better. But then, of course, also my professional career went off. And at one point, I just noticed, okay, I couldn't get that amount of information. I needed to actually perform that level. So I had even a few years where I completely moved to a passive portfolio. So I structured and developed a fully passive portfolio using ETFs, fully diversified, different currencies, value growth, everything, different countries. So very complex. And that was pretty nice because I could fully focus on my professional career. But I noticed after a few years, I just like trading. So I started back again, building little performance satellites where I could toy around, and that just did grow back into more and more trading. And I always had a plan to retire early. So even in my early years, I knew, okay, with investing and trading, I will be able to retire early. So all my retirement funds were all self-organized. So I always had the idea, so mid 50s, I should be able to retire, so I have a bit of life left. Because in Germany you have to work till 67, so not so nice.
Yeah, same in the US.
It's the same here for us US. You can't retire. Yeah, you can't touch any of your retirement money till 67 unless you can afford to do it. So yeah, it sucks.
It was
probably different to many. I always had this plan. Okay, I keep on trading, investing. It's more like position trading, swing trading, higher time frame stuff. But it was my life plan to do that and to actually work on that skill and expand on that skill. And after my few years stint of being completely passive, I actually said, okay, I noticed that it's just missing in my life, and I want to focus more on that. And that was the point where I actually made a 3 years rolling educational plan for myself. I said, okay, what I want to learn, what I need to focus on, and then I started really taking also coachings and stuff like this. So I was coached for more like shorter term, daily and 1 hour swing trading, news trading, commodities trading, options trading, all this stuff, because I wanted to just diversify my skills, also how I would handle my portfolio. And that was taking getting more speed. So I was crunching down on my target line when I want to retire, but it was still way back. But I see that, okay, I could increase my returns to about 30% a year. That was my gain target. And I actually made that target the last few years, and this was the target I needed for myself to say, okay, maybe I can retire early. Well, not retire, move to being a full-time trader. But it was still like kind of, yeah, I could, but why should I have a very cool job? I enjoy my job. It makes good money. And then two things happened. First of all, my son was born in end of 2019. That totally shifted my focus.
Shout out baby Sven.
Yeah, he's a cutie pie. So.
Children tend to do that, shift your life dramatically.
So that caught me because I always knew that I want to be like a very involved dad, but it still was pretty weird to see that all of a sudden, like going to a meeting, to a high important meeting, and getting a nice award or stuff like this, it just paled. If you could just be at home and do diapers. So it was pretty weird experience. So that changed. And also COVID happened. And so I worked in the aerospace industry, and all our management, myself included, we decided to just drop down our hours to help the company. So all of a sudden, instead of working like 60, 70 plus hours a week, I was only working 28 hours at some point. So a lot of spare time all of a sudden. And like all the great guys say, never waste a good crisis. I just divide them, okay, I do like 40% family, and 60% of that extra time I would do for just kick things into gear. It was also in a time where I looked into more short-term trading, because my idea was that if I go full-time, I have a lot of time. And with my typical trading style being swing trades and commodity trades, also like weekly fundamentals, daily entries, so all things you could do probably within an hour a day and be done. So I knew I had a lot of time then free. So I thought, okay, what can I do with time? And of course, intraday trading then makes sense. Like also for transition, it would still feel like sitting down in front of the computer, staring at charts for 3-4 hours, and then your working day kind of is done. So I kind of liked the plan, and I started looking around. It's also then how I kind of found Bear, because we were in the same community before. And I found that community through my searching for, okay, where do I get more information? How can I get trained for doing intraday trading? And yeah, so that actually leads to now I'm currently a full-time trader I would say in probation. Because even though I made my milestone 3 years in a row that I had set out for me to actually be able to quit my job, of course, that happened. So I quit in early this year. So my first month as a full-time trader was June 2022. And we all know that the markets kind of changed earlier this year.
Yeah.
So everything that worked very, very nice the last few years just went to shit.
So unfortunately, we can't truly say Sven to the moon, because you did leave your aerospace job, and also because of the markets.
Yeah, Sven to the moon. I like it.
So there's still a possibility that I've left. My plan is just to be. I have freedom to do it for 2 years. That's what I've set out. I can afford to just live off my my portfolio basically for 2 years, and if it doesn't work, I will just go back to my former job. So I'm a full-time trader on probation. Hopefully, probation will be gone in a few months' time, but that's currently what it is.
So what it sounds like is you did awesome, which is great. It's amazing that you have a portfolio and like that you started young, but a lot of it's like stocks, and that type of thing, and then learning 1 hour. So you're still kind of, like you say, probation, you're kind of like transitioning into this like day trader. Like, how do you make that like not small profit, but like, how do you make like profit every day versus like holding your positions, which I think is really cool, because you're actually one of the first people in a while that I've actually talked to, and also I think that we've had on the show at all so far, that actually has that story. Like everybody kind of comes with like, oh, I made my money, or I lost a lot in the beginning, but like you like right off the bat were like, nah, I have money.
No. That organization that you just went through, that was hot.
Yeah. It's really, really, it's nice to see that you had this like plan, and that again, I always talk about keeping income coming in. Like you had money coming into your portfolio, and you still kept working, but you had your hours scaled back and whatever. And I love that, like, you waited till you had that priority as to why you made it, which was, your son, and like just kind of making that shift in your life where you're like, it's time for me to do this. And you really took the time to learn the things before you went and just made like a big life altering change. So I do give you a lot of credit for that. Obviously I don't want to say older, because like I'm old too, and by that means, but if I make that statement, me and you are old. But I love when I have people who come on who are like, mid 30s, 40s, 50s, and they can kind of like offer that advice to these younger traders that are coming in that are kind of gung-ho to just be like, oh, I'm never working, I don't want to do this, I'm not meant for a 9 to 5. And it's like, none of us want to do it. Nobody wants to go to a 9 to 5 every day. Some people have. No, I mean,
my job's pretty awesome, Christy.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people have some rewarding jobs, but you don't have kids yet, so you don't know.
Oh, fair enough.
You don't know when your kids, when your kids are starting to walk, starting to talk, and you're like missing these important moments. Like you might decide that you want to be home, you want to be a part of that experience that like you wouldn't otherwise get. But something like trading and having this opportunity like allows you the ability to be a part of all of that, but yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say is, yes, Sven sounds like he liked his job for the most part. He was very career driven and it was still enough to keep him working. And anyway, I just think that's really cool that you show that side, you build a portfolio, like you did everything else, and you actually are going from high time frames to like you're scaling slowly,
which I think is like the perfect way to go, because there's too many people nowadays who are like seeing the kind of YouTube guru mindset and be like, you know what, I'm gonna start on the 1 minute, and then like a month later is like, I've been doing this for a month now, I don't understand why I'm struggling. It's like, well, you're fighting an uphill battle starting off with that because you don't really know how to execute trades. You're not really good. I'm sorry, but I'm calling y'all out. I'm calling you out. But it's like, it's just the fact that
the SMC cult. The 2-pip SMC cult.
No, we called them out enough.
No, we already called them out. No. But it's just for people like even as simple as like lot size calculations and just like understanding like and not overthinking, because a lot of people overthink things, and when you're on the 1 minute and you overthink, 2 minutes go by and it's done for it. Like you've missed your entry already. So like I've said before, I start on the 4 hour kind of. I didn't do options like in Sven's case, but still kind of the same idea of price action on the 4 hour, which is extremely slow. I'd get like maybe 3 or 4 trades a week. But I kind of got used to that. I'm like, okay, let's kind of like, I'm getting a little crazy now. Let's go to the 1 hour. And I was like, oh, I'm getting even crazier. Let's go to the 15. And then I found myself scalping on the 1 minute. I'm like, geez, this feels like an 8-hour shift. I don't want to do this anymore. So then I kind of found my happy medium. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, I had the same scenario. I mean, I started doing options where I was holding trades like multiple days, sort of like Sven was. My option, like my call dates for options were months out, and I typically hold it for a week or two at least. It wasn't it wasn't day trading. It was more multi-days kind of. It wasn't swing trading either, but something in between, intraday trading. And when I went to Forex, I stuck to 4 hour, 1 hour, and 15-minute. And going below the 15-minute, I was like, man, this is fast. We're getting some candles every 5 minutes. Oh my God. I mean,
I'm Lightning McQueen.
Yeah. I never went below that until more recently with my stint into 1 minute trading, which was an experience, we'll say.
Yeah. No, I started right at 1 minute. I was like, no, I ain't got time.
I got time for this.
That's a lie. I started on 30-second time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously I lost a ton, so that's why I learned my lesson. And burnt bunch. That's why with strategy wars, it's like 1 minute. I have to go back to this. Not like I up until then was very adamant. Like I don't really like to be on 1 minute. Even when I would do a style of like what I would call super scalping, like. People who have followed me for years know what I'm talking about. That even was on a 5 minute. Like I refused to look at the 1 minute time frame because I was burnt so bad by it. So yeah, everybody learns different. Yeah, and then I remember learning 1 a minute and like trying to learn structure and learning all these things on 1 minute. And then when somebody was like, move up time frames, like somebody was like, you're stressing yourself out for no reason. Go to the 1 hour. Like the knowledge, you just are stuck in a 1 minute time frame. Like, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. And then I remember trying a 1 hour chart for like I really made myself do it for like 3 months, and I was like, wow, this is easy. I was like, is this how people do it? Oh man. Yeah, so I remember that was like how I started. Like 1 hour was when I finally started getting consistently profitable, and then like the multi time frame things started to click a little bit more for me, and I was able to be like, okay, 1 hour, support and resistance, I like those zones, and on the 1 hour I was like, but now I can like figure out how to implement the smaller time frames, getting like a better entry, but sticking with like a stronger overall time frame, like higher time frame trend or something. But yeah, so everybody has their different stories, but it's really cool to hear you guys how you got in. I would like to make mention though, I believe you guys, are you both engineers?
Yes.
Well, all of us are engineers.
So
you're the oddball out.
I want to clarify to everybody that I feel like we keep bringing on engineers, and like you do not have to be an engineer to trade, but
and bald.
Engineers clearly, yeah, I feel like already also we're like, man, all the engineers we know like do really well at trading or like end up doing well, and we're like, there's got to be something.
It's just
there
the risk.
You guys are
it's kind of the risk and application side of things. Yeah, it's the numbers, and I feel like Sven and Bear might have a different opinion, but I've said this like on multiple podcasts now. It's like you always have to prepare and think of the worst outcome, and then it's like, okay, can I cover for that outcome? If so, we move on and we continue with this.
Yeah.
It's for me in the oil field, like you're building tools for people that could potentially honestly kill themselves using these tools. They weigh so much and they're working 16 hours a day. They don't have time to think, they just do. So you have to try and think of anything. Could they get pinched on this? Could like their clothing get caught in this? And like all things like that considered. So I feel like it's always like a
Cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, it's like find what's the worst thing that could happen. Okay, that's not bad. We could deal with that.
Yeah. I always think it's interesting to hear what people have been taught skill-wise and like then seeing how they progress. Engineers definitely do well. Oddly enough, a lot of medical people I know do well. And I think similar in that like we have a very, when you're trained in a medical professional, you have a super respect for science, scientific data, facts, like anything like that, like you respect that because that's what all of your analysis, like when it comes to medical things is drawn off of. So I think people tend to do that. There's also a lot of, people may not know this, but we have to be good at math in the medical world. We do all your med calculations and all of that. Like you have to know how to do it quick and on the spot, especially if you're in emergency types of settings. So like you have to be able to do that. So like I find medical people, engineers, weirdly enough, like artsy people do really well, and I haven't figured out why they do well yet, because I know like
they're
a lot
able
of
to
artsy
imagine.
people think with their left
They're
side of their
imagine
brain,
the
but
paint
maybe
the
they
chart
like
or a
tap
candle
in. Yeah,
canvas.
I always think it's fascinating. So now I'm like on this thing where I'm like keeping track. Like, what do you do for a living? What did you do for a living? Trying to figure out like
That's in the
who's
Google form in the
living.
survey. Whenever you sign up for trading floor, what is your
What do
occupation?
you do? What have you been trained in? Because I want to know. I'm curious, always curious to see. But obviously,
Okay,
engineers,
so
if you guys are out there, you're probably going to be good. Stick with it.
You all thought
Let's
Christy
move on, though.
started a
Yeah,
started a trading company? No, she started a social
No.
experiment.
Yeah,
This
it's-
is my own data. My own
You-
data analysis.
you fell
But
right into a
moving
trap.
on.
Yeah,
moving
let's-
on. Maybe
Chris,
some other day we'll do a podcast.
I and the
about it.
viewers are longing to know this at this point of the
Uh-oh.
origin of Ben. Like
We already
who-
said it.
Well,
Oh.
no, but
No,
like
not
get
really.
into no,
No.
yeah, no, get into
It's
more
even funnier.
detail.
It's even
Yeah, no,
funnier.
that's what I'm saying. Like I
I
kind
don't
of know.
think it is funny.
know a
but
little bit of
Jay
it,
was
but-
dying when I said it because I was up late. We're up late. I don't even know what we were doing. Like it was one of those late nights where we had to like go through stuff. On all I know is we were talking about you guys and like this and then something else that we're doing in December. I don't want to spoil it, but
Oh.
something else that the guys are doing in September or December. Oh God, I'm mixing them up. December.
Spoilers.
So I don't want to spoil it now because we don't have anything set in stone, but there will be something and they'll talk about it. But we're talking about trying to just plan out content because like that's one of my jobs is in TTF community is I'm the content organizer,
Person gal.
So we're going through it and it was late and I'm trying to run through how the next 3 months look. And so I'm talking about Bear and Sven. So I kept being Bear and Sven. And honestly, that is a tongue twister. And when you were
hit me with
when
the
you-
bin. I'm like, wait,
when you
who's
were
Ben?
deliriously tired and I just like kept getting tired of saying Bear and Sven. And I'm like, eventually it just got to Ben. And I just kept talking through it. And Jay's like, what?
Who's Ben?
Who? And he's like, who's Ben? And I was like, Bear and Sven. I'm tired of saying their names. They're just one thing now. That's it. It's like they're Ben from now on. And we literally have been writing like Ben on everything. Jay just like, of course, dying. And I was like, I don't see how it's funny. Like, I'm so tired.
Oh, it's
But
hilarious.
he was
I mean,
dying.
we at this point we have Ben, we got JTino, we got
I like how he puts himself first though. Like,
of course, I mean, obviously, like
Yeah,
it just makes sense. We even have Hawksy. I mean, you want to call it
Hawksy.
Hawksy? Yeah,
I haven't heard that one yet. I like it.
but no, let's get back to the Dynamite duo. So honestly, like I'm very interested in. I know Chris is too. We love the drama, but not just the drama, but we love the love. Love is definitely in the air with these two, and we just want to know like who made the first move, like who maybe bought the other person.
That's actually a good story. We kind of get like set up.
Who bought the
Oh.
first dinner for each other?
Yeah.
Like who treated
No, we
Jay
got,
and
like,
I-
this line of-
This-
Jay and I
thing-
got set up too. That's funny. We didn't know each other. I didn't know Jay at all. In fact, he was given to me as a gift.
Give
And
it.
I-
Whoa.
I was like,
we were kind of forced.
I was got
Yeah.
I was
Who paid
cornered.
the-
But if you don't mind, I go first and you just
Oh,
correct
yeah.
me if I'm missing anything.
Yeah, go
So
for it.
as mentioned before, we had been in the same community before. And from that community, we had some what we call London lunatics trading the same style of trading and at the same time frame in London, of course, and a lot of chatter. And out of this, it was like then like this private spin-off group to work on this kind of strategy. And from that group, then it boiled down to another private group. One guy just saying, okay, I just pick the guys I like the most, actually do back testing and sharing results and stuff like this. And he dragged Bear and myself into his private group. I didn't even want to go, and I think Bear neither.
Yeah.
But he was very persistent. And so we finally, okay, I go, but don't expect any big contribution from me, because just I don't want any more like chat groups and stuff. And I was in there, Bear as well. I noticed Bear before in the old community, because he was trading Forex and all other guys were trading on the NAS and on the Dow Jones. So I this guy knows Forex. He was posting some very nice results, but we didn't really talk back then, I guess.
I find it hard to believe that Bear didn't talk. Like Bear talked. I don't know how you don't notice Bear.
No, like
no, I noticed him, but we didn't have any major interaction.
Yeah, like we had back and forth in the Discord, but that was about it. It was just like talking about some trades. No private DMs, no calls, no nothing.
So and then that guy actually also was like, come on, I don't want to text. I want to enter the voice chat. Come to the voice chat. Come to the voice chat. And so he was super persistent. That finally made Bear and myself go into the voice chat with them. A big shout out to Alex and Bobby at that point. You did it. And so we just noted, okay, this guy is cool. And it was an additional 4 of us in that chat room, plus a few others that came by from time to time, but more or less 4 people. And it just evolved to mostly Bear and myself talking to each other.
Yeah.
And there's also the point when the other 2 guys were like, it was a joke at the beginning, like, you 2 guys, you should stream. You should do it. We were joking about it. Keep on joking. And then meanwhile, TTF happened. And Bear, the Bear he is, he just pitched it to Chris, like, hey, we could do a stream, Bear and myself. And that's how it all started.
Yeah, well, that's fun. I didn't know that what I'm wondering, I didn't know that you and Bear like had met that way, but I'm wondering, when you heard Bear's voice for the first time, did you know he was a guy, or did you think he was a girl? Because for a really long time, everybody thought that Bear was a girl because he had such a girly profile picture. And I'm not gonna lie, like Bear loves to put like girlier memes on there. Like
absolutely.
Sometimes it's like you're like,
no, I'm pretty good at knowing people.
So you weren't one of the ones who hit on him thinking, man, maybe he's a girl. And then he gets on, he's like, yo.
Oh God, that was so much fun. The amount of DMs I got.
I had gotten quite a few too, asking what happened to Girl Bear. And I was like,
Girl Bear.
Girl Bear
we want Girl Bear back.
Yeah. They're like, who is this guy? Like, imposter.
It was all a ploy.
No, yeah, Bear is a male, guys. If you haven't known that, you were suspecting he was a female, but I know. Here. Yeah, I know in the old community, there's definitely a lot of people who believed he was female. So I was curious to see if you came on. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, which is funny though, because we did the whole like live trading thing one day, and then people still thought it was a girl afterwards. Like, did you not hear me talk?
It's a voice changer. It was a voice changer.
Trying to hide.
Until they have
so Bear, what was your opinion of this beautiful meeting? Like when you guys met?
Yeah, I mean, along the same lines, I was in the other community, and I was obviously, you knew I talked a lot all the time, and I know Sven was there, and we'd interacted, and we had a good relationship via the like public side of the channel, and we'd go back and forth on trades and stuff. And then when we got pulled into the other Discord, I was just like, I'm not really keen on this, don't really care. And then one day they're like, come on, join voice. I was like, okay, hold on, let me get my microphone. And then after like, I think it was like 10 minutes, and they're just like, come on, join. Join us. Okay, fine. So I joined, and then we just like, I think we hit it off like right away. It was really just him and I talking for 4 hours during London every day, just trading and talking and trading and talking, throwing back ideas. And then eventually, like the other guys in the channel just muted us. They'd be in the call, but then they just like deafen and then come back and then deafen. And then Yeah, that's when they're like, you guys should do it. You should do it live or stream or something because it's entertaining to listen to sometimes. I was like, sometimes, okay.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
So
I mean, we do talk a lot, like never nonstop, and they're like, it's distracting while we're trying to trade. I was like, what do you mean? It passes the time. I'm staring at a 15-minute chart. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
will
think that's
say
great.
a little more about that to give y'all to kind of pick y'all brains on that. So before y'all had met each other and y'all talking for like hours on end at this point, like how did that feel compared to kind of like taking this like solo journey? Like how like
So,
did it did it affect you in like a positive way? Did it like or nothing really change or how'd that go about?
so I actually have a great story about this. So as you know, I was very much a higher time frame trader, and I did everything solo. I mean, I had my brother who also got into trading while I was learning, but we didn't really like tackle it together or really follow through like long term together. So it was very much just a solo journey for me. Now, granted, back when I mean, I think Christy, you started around the same time as me. Like there was not that many communities. There was not that much YouTube. Like
Like
it was
nothing.
like information was pretty scarce.
I have like
And
2 YouTubers I watch, and one is still around. I won't name drop him.
yeah,
He's pretty good, but man, yeah, but like
it
his
was
voice was like nails on. Sorry, so those of you who think my voice is nails on a chalkboard, I understand now because like
Such a
his voice to
hypocrite.
me was such like, but he was one of the only people who talked, so it was like I had to listen, but it would
Mhm.
be like. Oh, it was rough.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, I'm so jealous of the amount of information people drop. Obviously, you have to be a little more careful because not all of it's like back then there wasn't as much of a motivation to scam,
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't quite what it was. But yeah, definitely way more limited information, which
Yeah, not that many trading communities, not that
no.
like, and
I don't
also
even
like,
know if Discord was around.
yeah,
I
it
wasn't
was.
on Discord
Yeah,
yet.
no, Discord was around, definitely was.
Oh,
It was just
well,
on
It
the
was
I
download.
wasn't
it,
on
it,
it
it was
either.
just starting. Before Discord was Team Voice, Skype,
Yeah.
Ventrilo. Those were the like the main community server things. Discord was around, I think like 2009ish, 2010, 11 is when it started to come out.
All right, shout out Discord. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't
Fun
join
fact.
Discord until like 2016, 2017, something like that.
Shout out to
So, yeah.
Discord, knocking out
Yeah,
Team
yeah.
Voice.
And I was like gaming it. Like I was in gaming communities. I wasn't in trading communities yet. I don't think I found my first trading community till like 2018. It was not a community I will even talk about.
I didn't find my community till the last one, you know. So,
Yeah.
but it was it was very lone wolf sort of deal. And as much as like, so for a background, I am a competitive athlete. I did athletics my whole life. I was in a U.S. Olympic alternate, top 5 in the country, top 100 in the world, highly competitive. I love winning, right? So this was like, I was like, I'm gonna go. I got this. It's a win, right? Which was fine. And I love trading. I love analysis. I love everything about it. But the one thing I hated was it was like 1 hour trading is very boring, right? Especially when you're learning, you're just like, I'm waiting hours and hours and hours just to lose money. What am I doing? Or trades take 3 weeks to play out and you're just bored in between. So I like, most of the time I would just like game and do other things and I'd try to fill that space, but it was hard when you love something, but you don't have anyone to share it with. So you're like, you know, you're trying to tell people, hey, I'm doing this. And they're just like, you know,
Like,
great.
Question mark? Yeah.
Like I can send a screenshot to Sven of an entry of like this like pinpoint wick entry. We're just like, dude. And he's like, oh, that is sick. You know, he gets it. He understands what I did. And it's awesome. You have that like that reciprocation of understanding what happened. And other people, you're like, man, like the price was here and I knew it was going to come back and pull back and boom, right there, right on the spot. I got in and it went up 2R and they're just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't understand. There's words coming out of your mouth, but I don't know what they mean. So that was really hard for me. And when I joined the old community, I made my foray into 1 minute scalping. And that was a bad mix for me. Highly competitive 1 minute scalping is a recipe for over trading and just revenge trading. It was bad. It was really bad. And I was really struggling to find some success on the 1 minute in this little experience I'm doing. But what I realized was that I was taking something that I wasn't enjoying, which at the time was like trading, because it was like so lonely, and I was attempting to overcome or compensate how I was feeling on the higher time frames with just being focused all the time. So like if I'm just trading and hyper focused on trading, you know, I don't have to sit around and wait and do other things and think about how this kind of sucks sometimes, right?
Right.
And that was just sort of like, and it took me a while to realize, I was like, I love trading. What I was missing was other people who also love trading. And I didn't make that realization until I started talking with Sven, where I wasn't actually trading. I was just chatting with him about life things, trading, charts, just general, you know, topics, just shooting the shit. And that was when I went back to my higher time frame trading. I was like, I'm going to put the 1 minute aside because I don't need that. What I needed was a community of traders to be a part of, who really understand what I do and my passion for this thing that we do every day. And that was a huge epiphany for me, because I was like, you know, I'm really starting to resent the 1 hour and the 15-minute that I'm trading. And that's why I tried to do like 5 minute, then 1 minute, then 30 seconds. And it was really just me trying to hyper focus on the charts and not think about anything else while I'm trading, instead of just understanding what it is I love about trading and figuring out what it was I was missing. So that was really one of the coolest things about, you know, meeting Sven and getting to our little dynamic duo, is making that realization and really going back to what I love to do, but also not feeling like I was missing something or that I needed to compensate for something.
So Sven, kind of add on to what Bear was saying, like what was your perspective on it? Was it more of like a sanity check to make sure like you stayed on focus? Because I know a lot of times, even myself, you can get tunnel vision in the fact that you really want to trade and like you're seeing this opportunity, but then you get like maybe another opinion from somebody, be like, oh, like, are you seeing this? So like I'm curious, like how did talking with Bear and kind of collaborating with him, I guess you could say, to that point, help you out?
I think it's twofold. Yes, you have this technical aspect of like, is this a good entry? Look what I did here. Do you like it? Would you enter here too? How would you see it? That is a part of it, but you already can have that within the community, because the TTF community is so super responsive and helpful. Just post a chart in there and ask, hey guys, how do you like it? And you will get an instant response from very cool people. But what our bromance has is just the next level up, because we all know that trading is super emotional, even though we have to trade without emotions. And there goes a lot into that, and you can only share so much within a broad community. For example, I would never share like, that is my net worth, I just made that on my private account, I lost so much money, won so much money. I would never share that. But I have the trust level with Bear. So Bear knows what I'm going through. He knows how I'm doing with my challenges, what I'm planning. And it's just so cool to talk to someone who understands, also can give a feedback. And it just makes life so much nicer if you can just share those stuff and you don't have to hold back or be careful about it. It's just really like your best friend all of a sudden knows trading. That was what I have with Bear. I have a very cool friend, and he also trades a bit, but not to that level. So I couldn't tell him stuff, because even though he would like to understand, he can't.
Right.
And with Bear, like he said before, just easy.
Yeah.
And just nice. And also I think the good thing is we are similar in many aspects to how we trade, and also from our character, what we like, what we would like to do, even outside of trading, like what type of food, how we react to people and stuff like this. But we are also different enough to make it worthwhile, because we don't fully agree on stuff. We are on a high level of agreement, but enough to make both of us better, because we can actually discuss about it. And yeah, it's just lucky coincidence. And I had it before, because I have a poker background, and back then I also met my poker buddy, and that is so extremely useful. I mean, when everything is going nice, it's cool to have someone and to share, but it's even more important if things go south, because you have someone who can just lay open. You can be fully vulnerable. You can show everything, and he will pick you up. He will not talk you down. He will say, okay, let's do that. I'm with there for you. And I had it doing my poker player too. I was playing on a very high level. I was one of the best players on my level, but still I hit like a 3-month losing streak. I was playing perfect poker, but just got shunted. And without my poker buddy, I would just left the game. And that will happen with poker, with trading the same. Because at the end, we're just playing probabilities, and depending on what are your probabilities are, you will get your 10, 11, 12 hour losing streaks. And yeah, if
That
you're
actually-
alone,
Hopefully not.
That actually leads into a recent event with me and Sven, actually.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, so Sven and I recently have been working on a little side project on a strategy. And we had been doing this for, I mean, we've been working together on side projects since January, different topics, and we do our back testing together. And I think we've thrown out like 2 or 3 strategies that are just garbage, don't work. Lots of fun back testing time.
Yeah.
Go anywhere.
Hey,
We
we've
love
been
back
there.
testing.
Yeah. We
But
thrown out a lot of things. We're like, never mind.
we had one that we were doing, and Sven was doing the coding for it, and I was helping with back testing, running, just concepts and strat ideas. And when we went to go test this, it utterly failed. Like, everything looked great. The back testing data looked amazing. Everything looked great. And then we went to bring it to the live market. The code was wrong. It failed. It didn't act the way it was supposed to. And we were both like devastated. And we were on like, so usually I wake up around like probably like 10 or 11 my time at night. And Sven usually doesn't get up until 3 a.m. my time, or 2 a.m. because he's in Germany. I'm in the US. We were both awake at the start of Asia because we were, this was live, right? So like, I think I slept for like 2 hours before we went live on Asia to see how this thing was working, like forward testing sort of, and it started failing immediately. We were on a 6 or 7 hour Discord call trying to troubleshoot what the problem was. And then this was on a Sunday too, right before our Monday stream. And we went from that straight into the Monday stream. I had slept like 2 hours in 2 days. And then what the worst part about it is that like Sven, there was a moment he goes like, does this even work anymore? Like, is this just dead in the water? And I was like, he's like, what do we do? I was like, no, we fix the problem and we run the data again. And we just spent like a week running the data. I was like, we'll do it again. We'll run it again. And that's what we did. And the numbers were worse. And I was like, oh no. Okay, it's fine. It's still all right. It's all right, Sven. We can do this. And then the next day comes after we fix it and it fails again. And then we're on another Discord call for 6 hours trying to troubleshoot this. And we're just like, oh, okay. Like, at this point, is this like not even possible? Are we just like missed the mark here? And I'm just like, nah, I don't know if we should do this. I don't know if we should do this. And Sven's like, no, I'm running the numbers. We're doing this. I'm running the numbers, and we're gonna run.
Cool. Us going back and forth though, and that's like the fun of collaboration is the fact that if y'all would be doing this by yourselves, like even me, I'd be like, run it that first time. I took all that time, like, you know what? No, whatever. But then Bear's like, no, you know what? We're gonna keep going. And then Bear like falls down, and Sven like gains his confidence. You know what? I'm gonna try it again. And then it's like it's a battle until you finally find. And when you finally find that one thing that works, then you're like, it
was worth it.
And then now y'all could both celebrate it. But if you would tell some like, if you tell your family members, they'd be like,
you're crazy.
Why'd you just waste your time? Good
job,
job,
right? Why it's not working? Don't waste your time.
It's huge. It's like a triumphant like victory, but like everybody else is like,
you
kind of wasted like 3 weeks of your life, like whatever. Until they start seeing the money, and they see the money coming in, and be like, dude, you did a great job. But they wouldn't understand until like the after effects.
Yeah, that week of like the first initial week of forward testing, I think I slept like 2 hours a day for 6 days straight, just like troubleshooting and then going to work and doing my own trading stuff and doing the back testing. And I was like, if it wasn't for Sven, like I would have dropped the project almost immediately. I was like, I'm not redoing all this testing.
I actually will 100% agree that I think it's
yeah.
nice to have people with strategy building of any type, whether you're doing coding or like so bot trading or building and stuff like that, or just manual strategies. It's always nice to have somebody I feel like, I mean, Jay works with me now, but even before him, I've always had back testers of some sort that have kind of worked with me pretty much as soon as I could start affording them. I was like, because as you guys know, back testing is extremely time consuming and troubleshooting, and back test again and troubleshoot. And it's not that you need to necessarily give up, you just need to find out where things are going wrong. And that's a big part of the strategy process and the applying it, that people just totally just don't even realize sometimes how much time goes into that, or maybe they realize it, but they kind of like to skip that step. Like people love to just skip the testing step. They're back testing it, or like even forward testing it. There's plenty of times that we tell you guys you should forward test things. And people are like, yeah. Didn't you back test it? Like I should be good. And you're like,
Sure.
you should still forward test it. And
I
that's
trust you, Christy. No, don't.
And you shouldn't trust me, because what we back test and what we forward test, like there's always going to be a discrepancy or a little bit of a difference. So that's why you should always forward test yourself. But I love that you guys kind of had each other to like come back on. And Jay and I can totally relate to what you just said, because we do this, this is like our JTina thing that we've gone through too, where we do this.
It.
And just it's easier for the listeners to follow along. But yeah, I get that. And I like that you guys are talking about like, yes, it's important to have a community. I myself love the idea of a community now. I don't think I would ever not have a community again. I really think it's made a big difference for me as far as like having somewhere supportive to talk to people and be involved. And I don't know what I would do every day if I woke up and didn't have like a community like to talk to, or people or whatever. And I also think it gets you in connection with people that you might never, you would never have known, like Sven, you're in Germany, Bear and Jay, they're both here in the United States, but nowhere near me. We're all in different time zones. So, it's just really cool to see like the people you can meet, and you never know who could be that like missing piece to what you need or compliment you. Like you guys said, you're totally different countries. You probably would have never met each other any other way, but like for the last almost year now, you've just been like this little couple. Yeah, you've been Ben, and then pushing each other in different ways. And again, Jay and I can relate to this. Sometimes like Jay and I are very alike in certain things, which is why I really do appreciate him when it comes to like his work ethic. And like when I need things, he jokes a lot, but he does like do the work when we need it. And unfortunately, he's been stuck with me, and I am like a pusher. I am like a workaholic with certain things. So like he gets stuck in projects sometimes that he's like, when did we sign up for this? And I appreciate that he will end up doing them with me with a lot of like pushback. But at the end of the day, I know he'll do it. And but there is like this balance when it comes to us like bouncing ideas off each other sometimes. And it's really nice to have that. And like you guys said, like when you need one person to kind of like pick the other one up and be like, no, we're doing this, like let's push through, or like vice versa. It's been really nice. Also hearing the hard truth. So it's like nice to have somebody you get along with, that you can say, hey, we have enough stuff in common. But sometimes you need somebody who is willing to give you those hard truths that like you
why
don't
are you
want
taking
to hear.
that trade? Like stop. Your plan. I know your plan is 3 losses and you end the day. Why are you still trading?
Yeah. And while I love our community, and I don't want people to be mean in there, sometimes just posting your stuff in the community, you're going to get a little bit too much support where everyone's going to be like, it's okay, you'll get them next time. And you're like, no, it's not okay. That wasn't your plan. So that's why having somebody like Sven or Bear, like, somebody to bounce it off of, or even Jay, like he's been guilty of doing this. On times he's checked me for things I've done, and it's like, you're like, that's not what you're supposed to do. And sometimes having that buddy system, I think beyond just a community, communities are great. And I definitely think that those are worth having. I think you can find your buddy system in a community. For sure.
Find your barriers, Sven, in a community.
Find your barriers, and but having that person who just understands you get along with, but also at the same time is not afraid to hurt your feelings to a certain level. You need that person, because that's how you get better. If you stay comfortable, you are never going to be uncomfortable enough to push yourself to be better. And you need that person who's not afraid to hurt your feelings, and that you're not going to be so sensitive. Like you might get mad at them. Like I've been pissed off so bad at Jason sometimes. But guess what? The next morning I wake up, I'm like, all right, so about yesterday, let's move on. And we've all been there. You need that person that you can say, I can move on from this. Like at the end of the day, it's about us all being profitable and figuring it out. And you just need that person. And I think you guys definitely have that vibe. Like you can see it. You can see why you're Ben. And it's really cool.
I actually have a great story about that.
Yeah?
You and your
So-
stories. It's like you're a Bible.
I love stories.
For 3-hour-long podcast. No, this
Nah,
is
so-
no, that's fine.
This one's pretty short, but this was when the inception of the $20 20 pip challenge idea came forward, right? For me doing this, and I brought it to Jay, and I was like, Jay, here, I got an idea. You know, this could be really cool for the community. This would be really fun for me and everything. And we all know how people who just start trading want to make money quickly. So everyone's interested in the 20 pip challenge and how they can turn $20 into 50K, just like in Artie's video. And everyone's super gung-ho about it. And even though when people come in, they're like, yeah, I want to do 20 pip challenge. And everyone's like, don't do it because it's a bad idea. And so I messaged Sven. I was like, Sven, I have a great idea. I'm going to go do a 20 pip challenge for the community, and we're going to live record it and stream it and stuff. And he goes,
terrible idea.
no, it's even
No?
better. Oh, it's even better. He messages me and he goes, I hope all the best that you succeed for you, but I hate to be the asshole here, but I hope you fail miserably. Because if you succeed,
confirm or deny,
everyone's
Sven.
going to follow you.
Confirm or deny.
No, full confirmation. Full confirmation.
I was like, I love you too, Sven. Thank you.
And you need that person to give you that reality check sometimes. And like we do it all the time, whether
Yeah.
it's content, strategy building, actual trades that we take. Like some, you send somebody something, you're like, good, and you're like, was that
No.
good? Was that good? Like, challenges that we both have done and like tried passing, and we've had issues where I'd be like, stick with your plan. And I was mean the one time, and Jay's like, wow, you're so mean. I was like, you're not sticking to the plan. He was pissed. He's like, you're not being supportive. I was like, I'm not trying to be supportive.
I had to reality check Sven in our last project because how we did the back testing and the numbers were really good and then they looked worse, right? When we did the initial testing, we were looking at somewhere around 200% gain in a year, and I was like, this is fantastic,
Casual.
right?
Yes. Casual.
Yeah. But so the testing that we do is very much the same as manual testing, but automated. And then we go and double check it to make sure it works. But we found like 200% gain, or I should say 200R, depending on what your risk is, right? And we redid the testing and we came out at like 120 or 140 afterwards. And Sven's like, man, this it's not even good anymore. I was like, Sven, that's 140% gain in a year. What are you talking about? He goes, but man, we were at 200, 220. I was like, yes, but we're still at 140.
Yeah.
This is still good. He goes, yeah, it's okay, I guess. No, this is still really good.
Yeah, you have a 100K account and you make 140K.
Right.
Like,
It's still slightly
they're
above
good.
10% a month, which I mean everybody tries to shoot for.
Yeah.
Sven's like, oh, I'm not slumming it with 140K.
Right.
Not good
That's no way.
Back it up. It's all right.
Actually, there's a part missing because I've read something that I really truly believe, and that's a rule of thumb that if you do back testing, just to be safe, you have to cut the gains in half and double the drawdown.
Yeah.
And if you do that with these kind of numbers, that would really just sucked. So that is the kind
I mean,
of
it was still
background to it.
70% a year. So
Yeah,
it wasn't that shitty.
but if you double the daily drawdown and then you have to go down
Yeah,
the
that's
risk,
where
and then
you
all
have
of
to-
a sudden you're at the 35, 40% a year, and that's then not really that sexy anymore. So
Not really that sexy. Still,
It'd be good enough.
50
But
to 70%.
I get what
For
Sven's saying. Like we like Jay and I were always doing worst case. That's why we do very
Yeah.
simple rule-based things, even though none of us actually trade those like algorithmic style things, because it's not that great. But we
Yeah.
know like that's like worst case.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and like that's and
You can only make it
24
better.
Yeah, we do 24/7 everything. Like we test them all, and like Sven's saying, we always would round down on things and stuff like that because you never know. you want to present. I never want to present misleading information in that way. We've shown negative months, Bear. You do the back testing with us now. We show negative months. We have no shame in it. We're going to show you because you deserve to see it all, and I want you to know the worst case. And like when you're creating something, you want to see worst case. So what Sven's saying, where you cut it in half, that's a very smart thing. Double your drawdown, because you need to know, like, worst case, can your account hold this? Like, will you be able to hold this even through like potentially a bad drawdown period? What is the longest drawdown period looking like, stuff like that. But that's a whole strategy building podcast, and we can go on forever about that, because now we have a bunch of people who like strategy building stuff. So like, this is
one of my favorite
we're going off topic, but
one of my favorite like quotes, sort of like what's Sven's double the drawdown, half the risk. Things that I keep in mind is that the markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. And that is always a great thing to remember, is that sometimes things just go sideways, and it's really great to have someone to talk to when the markets are just irrational. And people are like, what's going on? What are these markets? What are this price move? And you're like, sometimes shit just goes sideways. Like,
sometimes you need somebody to tell you what happened. I mean, I think there's been times where I think Jay one time was like doing something, and I was like, it was COVID news. And this was months ago. And I was like, well, there was COVID news today, and he was like, what the I don't want to curse. I don't want to curse on the but he's
because
like,
you're innocent.
WTF?
You're an angel, Chris.
And
we all know that.
No, he's like, WTF? And he's like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, I mean, I thought everybody knew, like, check your news, like, that's your job. But again, kind of having
recently,
that person to be like, oh,
even recently, we were like, I think it was last Friday, whenever there was like huge interest rate, I was like, yo, like the news like tanked it, and Christy's like, oh, I had a sell. Let me see if it's hit.
We were recording that day, and I was that's different. I was in a short anyway, because it was targeting a 4-hour level. But I mean, the news helped really nicely to just
I should check in my trade. Thanks.
I was like, thanks. But anyway, it's nice to have a buddy to vent to or talk to, have somebody, whatever, whether you have a group, like you guys said, you had a smaller subgroup where you had, you had other fellow friends who kind of left, or maybe they formed their own bromance and we don't know, who knows. But I think it's always nice, and I think that we wanted to bring you guys on just to show an example of, like, just to see how cute you are when you're talking to one another and how you have that bond. And I know Jay and I, like, we joke, and we really do probably have we're not bro, I'm not a bro, but we have a bromance type of thing.
You have a bromance.
We do. And then, you have your Hawks and Roxy thing.
Hoxie.
And everybody kind of has their own little thing. And I think that's really nice. And it seems like everybody, like, who has that kind of has that person to be that little bit of a tougher, like, person, but within respect of, knowing how to respect them properly. And, yes, you can still use the community and you can use them, but to help you with questions, like Sven was saying, post it, somebody will answer you. But over time, you might find that you kind of click with somebody, and like, maybe you can find your way into like creating a little bit of a friendship or a little bit of a group with people who are trading the same times as you or whatever. In TTF, we actually have, which don't really get used that well, but we do have the actual sessions rooms. We have like London, New York, and we have Tokyo session in there, where, like, if you're one of those traders who's trading, like, you're sitting and staring at the charts all day long, you probably could find people who are also sitting and staring at the charts during those sessions. And that's like a good place to kind of start.
They don't want to be the first to talk. Usually it's kind of that scenario. But if you start seeing other people interact, then everybody likes to join in.
Yeah, I would suggest trying to find somebody who does like to at least shows interest in the same session as you. So that way, like, they're around to kind of like throughout the day to kind of like go back and forth, like you guys said, talk for 6 hours. Like, it's inevitable. You're going to form a friendship. You cannot be on a call with somebody for 6 hours without being like, hey, what are you eating? Like, what are you doing later? That just happens.
It helps a lot, like that, me and Sven, we instantly clicked as far as like our personalities and how we view the world. So that really helped an ability to be able to like talk constantly and just about different things. But yeah, it's definitely nice. Like the community, I think, is absolutely fantastic for giving you like the psychological support you need in trading when you have a down day, when you don't know what's going on. You're just like, I mean, I'm so lost. I don't know what happened here. Please, somebody help me. But I think if you find someone like, like Jay is for you and Sven is for me, it allows you to go in depth into things in your life that also affect trading. Because everyone talks about like the psychological side of trading, where it's like, you can lose, It's hard to be patient, over trading, FOMO, all these things. But what people don't talk about is like, I had a shitty day at work yesterday, and that's affecting my trading today. Not FOMO, not over trading, not revenge trading, just a shitty day yesterday. And for most people, you're not going to talk about that day or about a financial thing that happened or something that is affecting you today with someone that you're not super close with. So it really helps.
If you are that open, hop over to Mindset Room, because like Mindset Room is great for that. But if you do want more privacy, and like the guys are saying, or just having, to have that person that maybe understands you on that little bit of a deeper level to truly know what that means to you, or knows how to handle like how do you talk to you, and not just be like, oh, you'll get them next time, Tiger. That doesn't really always help some people. Sometimes people need a little bit more of a personal touch, and I think that having that trading buddy or having a friend really does help. It like Sven said, having that best friend, but like who knows how to trade, like it's super helpful. I really, really, really appreciate you guys coming on and talking about this. Is there anything you guys want to like talk about, or Jay? I don't know.
I would like to add one thing. So Bear and I, we kind of went like by coincidence, but we were pulled into that thing to actually talk to each other. But don't be afraid to make the first step. So for example, don't be afraid to make
the first move. That's what you say.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, one of my trading friends, and Ben knows him meanwhile too, Lars. Hi Lars, by the way. I actually met him because when I was starting my trading company, I was looking for like social media to find more information how to actually do it properly. And he wrote just a one-liner, and it just hit me like, wow, that sentence is exactly how I would word it. And I just messaged him on Facebook, like, hey, I saw you are also interested. Maybe we can have a chat and just compare notes and stuff like this. And out of that, it happens to be now a very good friendship. And you never know. Just be open for that. Make the first step. And especially, I think with our community, everybody is so helpful, so friendly. Even if they say no, it just doesn't click, it's a worthwhile shot. And if you find your trading buddy, it will just transform your life.
I agree. I think that there is just such a difference when you really are feeling low, where you're like, I can't do this anymore. Like having the person to be like, help you kind of get through it. It really does make a difference. I know I was there before when I had no communities and stuff, and I took like months off from trading, whereas like I just can't do this anymore. And then I found my way back. A couple of YouTube videos like reeled me back in. But I had a community, I really do think, or a buddy or a friend or anything like that to have talked to. I think it would have been nice to have had somebody just kind of like talk me off from disappearing for a couple of months. But if that's something you need to do too, please do it. But if you have that friend that can kind of like help walk you through like what is actually going on, why are you like having these problems, like that's always nice. Have a second set of eyes to look at something, help walk you through something, see something you might not see. So it's really been different for me too, to have people like like Jay and stuff like that coming in and working, and it's been awesome. So, and I can't complain. The community is amazing. Like it's such good vibes. Like it's like bizarre. Like,
the vibiest, one might say.
It's almost like too nice, where I'm like, oh God, you guys are all so nice.
God.
No, it really is. I appreciate everybody that comes in there, and I love that they come in, and I know there is like this paid wall, which does suck, but like I think there's almost a benefit in that the people that come in are serious. They're very serious. They want to come in. They want to learn for the most part. They're coming in with good intentions. There's none of this like negative stuff going on. There's not a bunch of spamming and scamming and stuff going on within the community, or people trying to use our people in there. And I really like that. I think it shows in the vibes of the community. And then like just the people who also give back. Like I love that everybody's interactive. Like Sven said, anytime you post something, somebody's bound to be awake and like answer you, which is like also crazy to me.
So if you're looking for your trading buddy, join now. You'll find them. No, I'm joking.
We don't know.
It's not guaranteed. It's obviously never guaranteed, but there's a good chance.
Maybe we'll start like a trading buddy, dating site or something in our dating room. Like we could have little profiles and be like, what are you interested in? What is your session?
What are your hobbies?
What is your sign? Because that's important.
That is important.
Bear, what is you're a Cancer, right?
Cancers represent.
Sven, when is your birthday? What is your horoscope sign?
I think it's I don't know if it's spelled correct. Sagittarius, like bow shooting.
Yeah,
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
Yes.
Oh, now I'm surprised.
I am surprised actually.
Wow, you just blew our
We
whole
won't-
horoscope thing. So
we
that's
we'll
Yeah,
actually we're
I'm
not
a
gonna.
bit of a weird character, so that's typical for me. I'm pretty yin yang.
that's a Sagittarius.
That's a
but
Sagittarius,
I mean, but
So,
I mean,
we
Cancers
will-
are not usually drawn to Sagittarius.
That is true.
So I'm surprised. But maybe you're like borderline Sagittarius.
We will
But-
kind of get more into detail. Actually, I'm not gonna leak anything, but there's something coming up about.
No, we can
Those
leak it.
types
It's
of
our next episode. So
All
our
right,
next
never mind.
episode.
We're just leaking it, I guess.
Our next episode is going to actually fall on Halloween, you guys. And in that one, we're going to, which was weirdly requested. So we're going to do it. We figured it's
Highly
something,
anticipated.
to mix with Halloween. It will be a little bit more about horoscope trading and talking about like moon cycles and stuff like that. This is
Well,
a
it's
thing.
astrology. It's not
Astrology. Let's
horoscope trading.
go.
It's astrology
Well,
trading.
we're gonna
It's
give you guys
it's
the
the trading
hard-
of math. It's basically
Okay.
astronomy trading.
There is both though. There is horoscope stuff where you can look at like what type of trader you are, and it is kind of fun. It's like a fun
It's
little
pretty
thing to do. So we're gonna mix the astrology trading with like some horoscope trading just to be
Apparently,
fun because
Chris
it's
bought me a
Halloween.
costume that's shipping to my house too.
Oh,
That I'm
yeah.
unboxing on that stream as
Yay.
well. I have no clue what it's gonna be. I'm not gonna open the box until the stream happens as well. So that's
It arrives
that'll be
in 2
something.
days. Thank you, Amazon Prime. Thank you, Bear.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Yes,
Bear.
Jay has no
My bet is
clue.
on naughty nurse.
I didn't. I don't want to ruin it. I did not pick that one. That would have been good. But yes, you guys will get to see him do that. So we just wanted to make that a little bit more of a fun podcast. So I mean, don't hate us for presenting it, but it really truly is an actual thing that some people do trade by,
Yeah.
or they use the mathematics of the
We'll
moon
go
cycles.
into detail during the
Yeah,
podcast.
and
don't
they
worry
put it
about
in
that,
with their
but-
strategies. But yeah, so we will talk about it in there, but a little more fun one since it's Halloween. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being on this one. And I really appreciate you guys coming and talking about your bromance you have, being so open about it, talking about who made their first move. Like, this was beautiful. I love a good romance story. And this was just, I mean, this is great. I love it.
Oh,
Yes. And
It was my pleasure.
yeah,
Yeah,
and keep
thanks
it
for
up.
having us.
Keep it up for sure. If you guys are looking for more Ben in the community, you guys can find them in the TTF community as well. They are both actually, they do both work with TTF now. So if you guys are looking, they are both staff. They both do the lives. And I think there'll be some more surprises. Like I said, we won't spoil that stuff. But coming in December, they'll be doing something pretty cool for you guys. So I think we are, right? Like neither of you
Yes.
are like nodding. And I'm like,
No,
are
we are.
we? I
We're doing it.
believe there's something pretty cool that they're putting together for you guys in December. So maybe we'll talk about that in another podcast or something.
In the near
but
future, whenever they're ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
guys.
lots of things coming from these guys in the next couple of months. So keep an eye out for them.
Any
all right.
last words, Bear, Sven?
Nice words. Yeah, sure. I really dig your nails. Great stuff. Show them.
Thank you. I
Not,
know.
yeah,
Thank
Jay,
you.
of
I
course.
was like, Jason did his nails?
No.
Thank you.
Who's-
Thank you. I really
No,
appreciate
I
Mine?
mean,
Oh, I'm the only one who would
yeah.
have
it.
nails.
It means the world
I
to
really
me,
like
Sven. I
them.
really appreciate that.
They're Halloween nails. It's like a spider web on these. These are like Beetlejuice nails. Anyway, thank you. I thought you were talking about Jay. I
TTF.
was like, Jay does get manicures probably. So I think
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
manicures.
I actually no. I actually
Manny
used
petties.
to. I used to back when I played baseball because like pitchers, it's all about like making sure you don't have like too long or of nails because like it can affect throwing. But besides the point. Bear, do you have any fun? Bear, do you have any final words, brother?
Come find us. Come join TTF with the link
wow.
down in the
Yeah.
description.
They are there on Monday mornings. They do their lives.
Yeah. Live stream every Monday morning. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's mostly just entertainment and some analysis.
Sometimes
Oh,
random
okay.
special guests pop in there too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
Who knows?
Oh, I mean,
Sometimes-
you guys didn't see the live stream yesterday. I did a live stream for 3.5 hours, and it was mostly dad jokes.
Oh,
well,
you getting your values right.
if you ever need to upgrade your arsenal of dad jokes, I mean,
Oh,
We're-
come join.
we're
We
here
had
Yeah,
for
some,
it.
but without joking, if you have any questions for us, the Monday stream would be the perfect time because we go through markets, but in between we answer all the questions you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
a lot of
Absolutely
Q&A.
open and honestly, so whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Stop by and ask.
Sven will keep Bear on track, you guys. So if you have questions, Sven will make sure that they get answered.
Basically,
that is what he
basically,
does.
That's Bear and Christy are the same, and me and Sven are the same. Or we regulate their talking.
I'm pretty sure it's flipped.
No, it's so true.
Debatable. But guys,
Christy, me and you don't stop.
like they're trying to do now, but you see, I am the regulator stepping in. Guys, thank you for joining in the podcast.
I feel some way. I've been wrapping this up for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wrapped it here, Chris.
Feel the glory.
Exactly. Guys, thank you for joining in the podcast. This is episode
you.
7, Trading as a Team. I really hope you got some benefit out of this. Please feel free to join the community. Like Bear said, maybe you can find your Bear or Sven. Maybe you can find your JT or your Hawksy. Who knows?
Maybe.
But with that being said, if you're listening on any podcasting apps, please feel free to follow or subscribe if you're on Google. I think we're on Google now. So
we are.
Kind of cool. So you can find us there as well. If you're on YouTube, obviously that's a no-brainer at this point. Subscribe. And we turn comments off. Sorry. But if you want to talk to us, join the community. Got you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Cheers. It's time to go.
Oh, shit.
Fun fact, Bear is one of our voiceovers. So if he sounds familiar to you guys, that's because he does a lot of our voiceovers, because he just has this like really good voice to like do things with. And Jay is insanely jealous.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am the slow-talking late-night radio announcer voice-over guy, Jay.
I give it 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't know if it's your calling. Let's keep going on with this
but-
episode.